Hello everyone, welcome to IMS Get Set Law channel. I'm Akash, Srivastav, your law mentor, and today in Law Wednesday session we are going to discuss a very important and very interesting case. So in today's session we are going to discuss KM Nanavati versus State of Maharashtra. So a lot of you must be aware of a movie named Rustam. So the case was so interesting and was so important that a Bollywood made a movie out of it. Okay. So in today's session, we are going to discuss in brief facts of the case. Then we are going to discuss main point of contention in this case and then what exactly was the judgment. So students, let's discuss the facts of the case. So when we talk about this case, there was a naval officer named Nanavati. He had a wife named Sylvia. They both were married and they used to travel from place to place because the work was such. Okay. So eventually what happened, they settled in Bombay and through a mutual friend, they met a friend. They met a person named Ahuja. He was a businessman. Now the story starts. So there was an illicit relationship that developed between the wife Sylvia and businessman Ahuja when naval officer Nanavati was out on duty. Okay. When Nanavati returned, then Sylvia confessed that she is having an illicit relation with Ahuja. Okay. Now, in the heat of agony, Nanavati went to the ship to procure a loaded gun, revolver, and then to Prem Ahuja's businessman, that was the businessman, office to shoot him. But he was not able to find Ahuja in his office. So, what exactly he did? He went to his residence and shot him dead in the bedroom. So, this was the facts of the case. Now, what happened after that? So after that, KM Nanavati, the accused, was initially declared not guilty under section 302 of jury by the jury with a 8-1 verdict. So earlier what used to happen, the judgment was delivered by jury. Whatever they decided, that was the final one. Okay. So in the first hearing, in the first phase, KM Nanavati was declared not guilty. But the judge was not satisfied. The session judge was not satisfied. Then what exactly he did? He referred the case to High Court of Bombay under section 307 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. The Honorable High Court declared the accused guilty under section 302 of IPC. Now this was the second phase. The third one was an appeal was finally made to the Honorable Supreme Court. So now we are going to discuss what exactly Supreme Court said in this judgment. Now students, we need to discuss what exactly was the point of contention, what exactly was the conflict in this case. The first conflict was what exactly is the ambit of grave and sudden provocation. So when we talk about grave and sudden provocation, it can be an exception. So if the person is say alleged to have committed murder, if he can prove before the court of law that he committed that act in grave and sudden provocation, then he will be not liable for murder, but he will be liable for culpable homicide not amounting to murder. So this was the main point of contention, whether Nanavati committed the act in grave and sudden provocation or not. And the second point of contention was whether judge have power, session court have power to refer cases to high courts or not, if they don't feel that the judgment that was made by jury was justified. Now students, let's discuss what exactly Supreme Court said in this particular case. So conviction under section 302 of the Indian Penal Code and sentence of life imprisonment imposed by High Court are legitimate and there are no ground for interference. So Supreme Court was in consonance with High Court. Whatever High Court passed the judgment, he said that the Supreme Court said that that was totally justified in nature. Now we need to discuss what happens with whether the session court have power to refer cases to higher courts or not. So if the judge disagrees with the jury's decision, he can refer the case to High Court under subsection 1 of 307 of CRPC. But again, two elements needs to be met. The first one is judge must disagree with the jury's verdict and he must believe that the jury's verdict was one that no reasonable man could have reached. After reviewing all the judgment, the court was of the view that the conduct of appellant was inconsistent with the defense that the deceased was shot by accident. So what happened in the court? The lawyers that were representing Nanavati said that Nanavati shot Ahuja in accident. That was an accident, but the whole code of conduct, everything that he did, he took the revolver and then went to his office, then to his place. So whatever the facts of the case were, it showed that there was inconsistency between the argument that you are presenting before the court of law that he shot in an accident, that was not an accident. In contrast, he had the mentality of someone who had planned and calculatedly executed vengeance of his wife's lover. So this was the case. The court was of the opinion that whatever High Court had passed, that is totally justified. On a false pretext, he secured the revolver and marched into Ahuja's bedroom with a loaded weapon. So Supreme Court was of the opinion that this fact is not supporting his argument before the court of law, that it was an accident and he shot Ahuja in an accident. Despite having numerous opportunities to do so, he did not tell anyone that he shot the deceased by accident until this trial. So before the trial, he never said that he shot Ahuja and that was an accident. The injuries found on deceased body were inconsistent with a deliberate shooting. Thus, the verdict of the jury could not stand. So whatever jury passed, that we cannot agree with. After his wife confessed his infidelity to him, he had plenty of time to calm down. His actions were plainly calculated and purposeful. The case did not fall under the defense of grave and sudden provocation, and that it was premeditated murder. Okay, so when we talk about this case, this was the judgment of Supreme Court of India. So viewers, this was the case KM Nanavati vs State of Maharashtra, in which we discussed facts of the case. Then the main point of contention were grave and sudden provocation and the power of session courts to transfer cases to higher courts. So in this case itself, it was decided what exactly grave and sudden provocation is, and for a lot of more cases, it became a precedent. And then Supreme Court of India was in consonance. The judgment that they passed was supporting High Court judgment, and it was against jury's judgment. So students, this was KM Nanavati vs State of Maharashtra judgment. So I hope you found it interesting and you will read more about it. It will be very important for your examination, for all the law entrance examination that you are aiming for. It is important and can be asked in one or the other form. Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned for many more interesting videos that will be coming in future.